Belal Muhammad, top-ranked UFC welterweight. He's got a fight. He takes on Sean Brady at UFC 280 in Abu Dhabi. How's it feel to compete in Abu Dhabi again?
Super excited. Last time I was there, it was an amazing time, and that was before I was even ranked or anything like that. And the fans, the way they embraced me was amazing. So I just can't wait to go back there now.
And we had the press conference yesterday. How was that? I know no opponent, so was that a little bit weird?
Yeah, it was weird when I was there. They're like, "You want to come to the press conference?" And I was like, "All right, for sure." And then when they said it was only me, Sugar Sean, and Oliver, I was like, what kind of press conference is this? But it was my first one, so it was cool. They were like, free trip to London. I was like, I'm down. I always wanted to come here and see the fans here and see the O2 Arena. So it was cool to experience it anyway.
The fans live up to what you thought they would?
Yeah, it's good. You get a lot of boos, and you get some cheering. So it's like, as long as they're not just quiet, I'm happy with it.
I told you there were some Palestinian fans. I think they asked you a question because I met them out in the queue, and I'm like, who are you here to see? And they're like, Belal. So did you get a chance to meet them? I guess.
Yeah, it was amazing. A lot of them showed up to the hotel. They met me outside, and then they were telling me all their stories and how much I meant to them. So it was cool to see that I had fans like that here in London.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get Sean Brady. You were asked about that. I know you wanted Khamzat or you wanted the title shot. So what was your reaction when they came to you with Brady?
It was one of those where you understand where they're trying to go with it. You know what their plan is, because they were not trying to give me the Khamzat fight, and I was like, it's the only fight that really makes sense right now. But like I said, I knew they were never going to hand me anything. I know I had to work for everything. I had to grind myself to the top, and having to beat one more tough guy to get to that level. Like I said, all I got to do is just keep winning. Eventually, it's going to be to the point where they can't deny me, and I just got to keep doing it.
And yeah, because you've had to do that a lot in your career, right? Fight guys outside the rankings or someone ranked below you. So did you look at it as, all right, this is just one more?
Yeah, it's like I said, I was like, I never want to look down on anybody or underestimate anybody. So I'm looking at Sean Brady as the next toughest guy. So for me also, I got to just come with that mindset. My next fight's always my title fight. Whether it's for the title or not, my next fight's always the biggest fight of my career. And I got to look at Sean Brady like that. If I come in there with the mindset of, oh man, I wish it was Hannoun, I wish it was this guy, I wish it was for the title shot, then I'm not training as hard and I'm not as hungry, then I'm gonna end up losing that fight. So I got to go in there with the mindset that this guy's a champion. I got to beat this guy with that mindset.
And Sean Brady is a great fighter, undefeated. Is there any lure for you, the fact that he's undefeated and he has a lot of hype? People are touting him as a future champion, at least in that regard, getting a win over a guy like that?
Honestly, the only lure is that this guy tried to talk trash, and I was sitting there like, who the heck is this little dork that's never said a word, and now he wants to start talking trash like he's some big tough guy. I'm like, bro, he was so afraid to call out Khamzat the whole time, and I was like, man, if he calls out Khamzat, all right, I'll accept this fight, because it tells me that he's not a coward. But he's obviously calling me out with guys like Stephen Thompson, I feel like he's a bad matchup for him, or smaller guys like Nate Diaz and Masvidal. Those fights where he wasn't gonna get at all. So I was like, obviously he thinks that he could beat me, and he puts me in that same category. So now I'm gonna have to go out there and be careful what you wish for.
Why not Gilbert Burns? He's ranked above you. I know same management, but was that a possibility for you?
Yeah, I was asking for that one too, and for me, same management doesn't mean anything. If you get to that level where you should be fighting each other, I fought Luque last fight. We had the same management. I just know that they were talking with Gilbert and saying that he's going to be fighting Masvidal. And obviously, if you're Gilbert, you want to fight Masvidal. It's a big money fight. But for me, it's I don't want to wait and see what happens with him if that fight ever happens or it doesn't happen. And I don't want to wait and see what happens with Khamzat and then be stuck where I'm out the rest of the year. And I was like, I wanted to get on the Abu Dhabi card. That was a card I wanted to get on. And I was like, I don't want to wait and then be the one with no fight at the end and have to sit out. If I'm healthy, I'm always training in the room all the time. I want to be in the cage.
And I asked you in the press conference about Sean Brady's grappling, but what do you make of him as a striker? Because I get the feel sometimes when you get two guys who are very good grapplers, we might see it play out on the feet. So what do you make of his striking?
I think I'm levels above him everywhere. I think that I had better striking, better grappling, better conditioning, better heart. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show everybody how good I really am in this fight, I feel.
You're often underestimated in your last fight as well. So how good did it feel to get that type of win over Luque?
That was the big one for me. For me, the Wonder Boy fight was that one that I was like, this guy fought for the title twice. He's the guy that the toughest test. He was the guy before that fight. They were talking about him versus Usman, and I was like, man, this is the toughest test. This is a scary test for me. And I really didn't even want that fight. Then when I went out there and beat him like that, it was like, okay, I belong here. But then they offered me a guy who knocked me out before, and I was like, all right, well, this is another crazy hard test. And I was like, what if it wasn't just like one punch thing? What if it wasn't a bad night for me? What if he's just that much better than me? And when you lose somebody twice in this division or in the UFC, it's like you're stuck. You don't. Where do you go from there? It's like I would have to look at a different division, because if I can't even beat Luque, what makes me think I'd beat Usman if I lost to Luque twice? So that was a big hurdle to get over, and then the fact that I beat him for 5 rounds, it was like I feel like my biggest fight and my biggest test that I got over, because Luque's a guy, you fight him probably 10 times, you'll go 5-5 because he's so good at finishing and is good everywhere. So like I think I had the perfect fight to beat him and the perfect game plan to beat him.
And we mentioned the Khamzat and Nate Diaz fight at the press conference. What does Nate Diaz need to do to beat Khamzat Chimaev?
Nate just needs to be Nate. He needs to be tough. He just can't settle. I think that same way where everybody's always underestimated him, everybody's always thinking that he's going to lose the guys, and he just shows up. Obviously, I feel like his cardio is probably the only advantage he has in this fight, and maybe toughness. It's going to take a truck to knock out Nate. So if he goes in there, just weathers the storm for the first couple rounds, maybe we'll see where Hamza's cardio is.
One last one. Who's world champion when Belal fights for the title?
When I fight for the title, I think it's going to end up being me versus Hamza, honestly.
Oh, gotcha. Well, thanks, Belal. Enjoy London. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.